Oh, it's coming into focus, baby, tonight. Hey, out there, whoever you are, it's New Year's night. It's going to be 2024 in like uh, 21 minutes or so. But you know what? I'm going back to 1965. Um, you know, when life was better. Because I was only, I don't know, 8 months old maybe or something. And the Yardbirds, having a rave up with the Yardbirds, baby. Their second album was released. The second American album from the most important rock band in the history of, well, all music, definitely rock music, you guys. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. Now, originally, this band had this guitarist named Eric Douchebag. And he, he'd sort of sit in the corner and cry about his miserable existence or something. There was just something always wrong with Eric Douchebag. And so the other Yardbirds were like, "Oh, well, what do you want us to do? We'll play it faster. Should we play it slower? Then what should we do, man?" And Eric Douchebag would just sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm all right. Let's try it again. I'm all right." Yeah, you can see where this was going. Eric Douchebag. Every band or project he's in, he always nudges in, nudges out, and he says, "Oh, we were nudged onto the road, and then I nudged out." I think the whole fucking planet Earth is better off without Eric Douchebag and people like him. I just wish he'd fucking nudge off for good right here on the Clark the Shark Show from the fabulous golden solid gold EIB sharkerphone. It's not a microphone. It's a beautiful sharkerphone because it was given to me by Sean Hannity. I'm not kidding, you guys. He's a big fan of Clark the Shark, and he came down here to San Diego away from his busy schedule, and he's all, Clark the Shark, I hear it all the time. You're always saying, I can't do a Sean Hannity voice, but he's always laughing at, my Steve Garvey or, my Mark Levin, like, get off my show, you big dope, like that kind of stuff or whatever. He's just like, he's a hardcore fan of Clark the Shark. And so he's really, truly the one, you guys, who gave me the solid gold sharkerphone. And he actually flew in here yesterday to San Diego. I'm not making this up, you guys. I'm serious. And he gave me the sharkerphone. He threw it on my lawn. I picked it up. I dusted it off. I got the dirt out of it. And now I'm reviewing the Yardbirds having a rave up. 1965, going on 1966 was this album, you guys. Going into a new and incredible time for music. And, now the band were struggling along, playing a lot of blues, and, they had to because they had Eric Douchebag in the band. Of course, now E.D. would go on and play in Cream with a couple of great musicians who fucking hated his guts. And those two being Ginger Baker on drums, the fabulous Ginger Baker, who's kind of an asshole himself, and Jack Bruce, who's also kind of an asshole. They're all dead now. I think Eric Douchebag is still alive, unfortunately. I fucking wish he was dead, but we're not here to talk about Eric Douchebag. We're here to talk about the Yardbirds having a rave up. This important band in history, uh, I don't know the story exactly how they hooked up with Jeff Beck, but people will be like, well, he's got more of a sense of humor, and he's eclectic and funny and witty, and he's everything that Eric isn't. And I know that's true, you guys. I'm more than sure that's true. Jeff Beck, great guy. He passed away recently. Very sad. Now, this phase of the band is my favorite phase of the Yardbirds, you guys. And I'm sure everyone who is a hardcore Yardbirds guy or gal will agree that the Jeff Beck years are really great. He wasn't in the band very long, you guys. And of course, there was a little time where Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck were both in the Yardbirds. And thankfully, thank God, that Eric Douchebag was nowhere to be found near this band. Because if he was, the whole fucking band just would have got on heroin and, like jumped off a cliff or something like lemmings. Because, dude, it's people like Eric Douchebag that I really despise. I mean, he's got the occasional good song. He kind of reminds me of Dirk McQuickley in a lot of ways, you guys, right here on the Clark the Shark show. And it irritates me, and I'm getting very angry just thinking about Eric Douchebag. And I'm so glad he was out of this band. And then the phase that would come after Jeff Beck would leave, sadly, I don't know the story there either, but I guess they were out on the road in America one night and Jeff Beck vanished from the band. And then it became Jimmy Page's band, weirdly enough. But I guess the other three guys were like, what are we doing playing with this Jimmy Page? Who is he? Kind of thing. Like, they didn't like him or something, and Jimmy Page, God bless him, he tried hard to keep the band together. He did everything he could. But sadly, Jimmy Page, is also kind of a douchebag. And I can see why the other three Yardbirds maybe didn't love or like the guy, or, they probably respected him. He's a great guitar player, and they revered him. And they regarded him, you guys. And if there's any other R's, he got it. But I don't think he got the love or the, enough like from the other Yardbirds. I think Keith Relf was like his buddy. Maybe Chris Drasia, but I know Jim McCarty, the drummer, he despised Jimmy Page. And, fairly or unfairly or whatever, you guys, I don't know. But the Yardbirds would split up right in the middle of a really interesting phase in 1967-68 with Jimmy Page leading the band. Maybe not the best phase of the Yardbirds, but certainly very, very interesting. Now, I'm not talking about that Jimmy Page phase where that all dissolved and turned into this other band that would come along and, revolutionize everything, you guys, whether it was deserved or whatever it was, or they were just Johnny on the spot. I don't know. But that band, the LZ band, their initials, gosh, what a band. You can't deny them in history, you guys. There's definitely something interesting going on with LZ, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about my favorite phase and time of the Yardbirds having a rave up with Jeff Beck and his Telecaster. Or whatever he played. I don't think he played a Strat. Maybe he did, but anyway, this band is you put them all together, like all these guys, and they're just really talented. They're maybe not as angry and pissed off as some bands are. I can name two bands right away who I won't mention from this time in the mid 60s. We know one of them smashed their gear and, well, you know, they went on to rock and roll absolute glory. And then another one didn't. They fizzled out into a solo project that kind of fucking sucked. But I'm not here to talk about those two angry British bands. I'm here to talk about the Yardbirds with Jeff Beck having a rave up. And baby, they did have a fucking rave up right here on the Clark the Shark show from the golden EIB fabulous sharkerphone, not a microphone, because it was given to me by Jeff Lynne from ELO. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but dude, I don't need anyone to give. You don't. Clark the Shark doesn't need anyone to give him a sharkerphone, baby. I give it to myself. You guys, come on. But you want to talk about bluesy R&B, kind of garage? Not really. It's a polished garage, you guys here. Mister, you're a better man than I. Written by a guy named Mike Hug. One of the bummers about the Yardbirds is, you know, they don't write a lot of their material or something, or, you know, I don't know, you guys, but it's so fucking killer. It's almost like it doesn't matter. I don't care or something. Evil Hearted You, awesome. My band, GE, The Greenhouse Effect with Phil Keegan, we would play Mr. You're Better Man Than I. And actually, the band with the three of them, before I was in the band, Phil Keegan, and then the red-haired guy, Rick Carmody on bass, and this other drummer who was incredible named Rich Eben, they would play the Yardbirds, Mr. You're a Better Man Than I, a really killer, awesome, amazing version of it. And then I came in and I played it for a while on drums and sang it, but I don't know, you guys, it's a fucking killer song. I wasn't feeling it or something as much as I could have, should have. Perhaps we should have kept on playing the Yardbirds, Mr. You're a Better Man Than I. What a fucking amazing song. I think Aerosmith has a version of that. I think. I could be right or wrong. I don't know. But Evil Hearted You, killer. I'm a Man, the Yardbirds version. Wow, you know, Bo Diddley. Their version is the best version of that song, you guys, that ever existed in history. The Yardbirds, high energy, kick-ass rock and roll. Not garage. This is polished garage. This is, I mean, you could call it garage if you want, but me, Clark the Shark, I won't call it that. This is like The Who, you guys, or the Stones. It's professional, hard-rocking, high-energy, atmospheric, melodic, deeply involved in itself. Everything I, Clark the Shark, love. I'm a Man, the Yardbirds. Awesome. And Still I'm Sad, an original written by the band, killer. Maybe the best song on side one, you guys. I wish there were more songs like that. Of course, Heart Full of Soul, one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever recorded. What an incredible song, Heart Full of Soul, written by Goldman. Awesome. And the train kept a rolling, you know. Even though so much cover songs written by other people, I still love it because I still love this high energy something about the Yardbirds that other bands don't have. You know, the band that smashes up their gear and they have the big nose guy who's not that good on guitar. You know, dude, I love that band too, but they're not the Yardbirds. There's something about this band that other bands don't have. And, you know, It's like live shit. You know. Oh, dude, Mister, you're a better man than I is incredible. Smokestack Lightning, of course, awesome, respectable, awesome. I'm a man. I don't like live stuff with Eric Douchebag, you guys, but in this case, it rocks. It's fucking all amazing here. And, you know, some other B-sides, bonus tracks, other songs, you know, reissues, Shapes of Things, of course, Jeff Beck, Truth, his version's killer, so is David Bowie's. But all these guys are important in this band. I love Keith Relf. God rest his soul. Rest in peace. He died. He was electrocuted. Maybe Brian Jones of the Stones was electrocuted in his swimming pool too. Also, you guys. Me, Clark the Shark, I'm a swimming pool tech. That's what I believe. I don't think the guy killed him, the contractor. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But Jeff Beck, lead guitar. Awesome. Eric Douchebag. It's a good thing they got rid of him early, or he quit or whatever. Because this band may never have existed if they had kept playing with Eric Douchebag. Chris Drasia, rhythm guitar, awesome. Awesome. And bass. Paul Samwell-Smith, bass. This guy wanted to control the whole thing. And eventually they nudged him out of the project, Paul Samwell-Smith, or he may have quit or was fired. I'm not sure. Now, the Nazi asshole in the band is Jim McCarty, the drummer. He's not that great of a drummer. He's no Keith Moon. But he's better than Lars Ulrich of the Beatles. I'll give him that. But, you know, I like him. Me, Clark the Shark, I like people that are misunderstood and weird and fucked up. And Jim McCarty is one of those people, you guys. Jim McCarty does not like this Jimmy Page guy, who was also in the band. And then the band turned into LZ. And Jim McCarty never liked LZ. There's a lot of people from this blues, rock and roll, you know, thing in England that still have a bone to pick, you know, with Jimmy Page and LZ. But you guys, in history, like it or not, it happened, and there's nothing we can do about it. LZ1 is fucking killer, you guys, and so is LZ2, and I like LZ3. And then LZ4 is just rock and roll heaven, you guys. What the fuck can you do? It's unbelievable. And there's things where I want to say, well, it's just not funny or ironic. It's not The Who. It's not Frank Zappa. It's not David Bowie. That damn LZ band, they're so boring. I can see why Rolling Stone hates them. And then I'm like, fuck Rolling Stone. They're a bunch of douchebags too. Kind of like Eric Douchebag, the fucking asshole guitar player in this band that they fucking thankfully left the fucking band. And, you know, and Jim McCarty too. Fuck him. But all these other guys, dude, even Jimmy Page, you guys, I love them all. Maybe not Paul Samwell-Smith, but definitely the photographer guy who took the picture of Zeppelin on their back cover of their debut album, Chris Drasia, guitar and bassist of the Yardbirds, you guys. Love him. It's sad that Keith Relf died, you guys, and he's gone. And so is Jeff Beck. He's gone, you know, but I know, like, Jimmy Page will live forever in rock and roll heaven. We all will, you guys, or who knows. But the Yardbirds, this is a band, you guys, that'll live beyond the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are an important blues, bigger than a garage, better than a garage, more important than a garage, and yet you could make the argument they're one of those bands, kind of like them, that, you know, and that band that smashes their gear, they're like the godfathers of garage, but then again, no. This is studio polish. This is kick-ass rock and roll guitars, kick-ass drumming. Everything's kick-ass here. This band kicks fucking ass. The Yardbirds. Bluesy, doesn't even begin to understate it, you guys. Rock and roll bluesy, the precursor. I hate the word proto, but these guys are proto heavy metal, proto punk rock, proto indie alternative. I fucking hate indie and alternative now, you guys. But the way the Yardbirds communicated their music, they are proto fucking everything, baby. This band is possibly the most important band to ever exist in rock and roll. And I'm going to change this review right now into a whole review of the whole band, not just having a rave up the second album. Because these guys have so many great songs. All three phases are great. Even if Eric Douchebag fucked up the first phase, I don't care. The Jimmy Page phase 3, where they just become this amazing live band. Fuck what Jim McCarty says. I don't give a shit what he thinks. Jeff Beck leaving is sad, but Truth is a great album with Rod Stewart. It's very important in history. I guess by the good Lord God above, it was all meant to be Jeff Beck Truth. Really the heavy album that rocks before Led Zeppelin, during Janis Joplin, Steppenwolf, The Who Live. 1968 was a critical year in rock where heavy metal and hard rock began to really get its legs, get its feet, and get rolling, get moving. But long before that, and before psychedelia in 1967, and before the garage years of rock and roll in America and in Ireland and England too, you guys, there was a band that existed playing bluesy, kick-ass rock that every band today worships, you guys, the Yardbirds. What a band this was. And you want to talk about a band with tons and tons of great songs. It is these guys. I reviewed long ago that album, Little Games, the Jimmy Page Yardbirds album. And I gave it an incredible, glowing, great review, you guys, because I could see where that band was going. Not really, because I always wonder what might have been had they been around for one more album, like in 1969. But you guys, it wasn't meant to be, and we'll never know now. But I also wonder, what would the Yardbirds have been like with Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page? They're totally different. One guy's an apple, one guy's an orange. And yet, from what I understand and what I've heard, it really works, you guys, when they played. They're the best of friends, or they were when Jeff was alive. But I think musically, Jimmy Page thought they weren't compatible, and maybe Jeff Beck thought that too. And these guys made a grandiose, big error in their thinking, because if by some contract they had to stay together, these two guitar geniuses, it would have been amazing. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, and Happy New Year. It just turned 12 a.m., baby, 2024. Buy this album at Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. I gotta go kiss the wife right now, you guys, but I want you to buy the Yardbirds, please. And you tell him that Clark the Shark from the Golden EIB Sharkophone, he sent you. And keep coming back here every day. My channel's getting bigger. Who knows? I might even make money at this someday. And it's because of all of you subscribing. And I know I've said don't like and don't subscribe, but if I start making money and where I can pay my bills and shit with this channel, then do like and subscribe, despite what I say. Right here on the Sharky Show, you guys, because I'm just like everyone else. I'm fucking greedy and I like money too. Not really greedy though. When it comes to paying the bills and having luxuries like cable TV, I'm just like everyone else and I need it too. But I need you to go buy the Yardbirds every single song, especially if you're only 20 here in 2023 and you were born in 2003, 2 years after 9/11. I'm Clark the Shark, and I'm out of here, people. Buy this music. Amazon, iTunes, Spotify tonight. And be back here at the show every day. I'm out of here. Peace.